Text us at pound 9050 or call us at 663-0061. That is 663-0061.
Open Studio. Everybody, welcome back to Open Studio. If this happens to be the first time that you're checking out this particular corner, every Friday evening we invite some guests into the studio to talk about a wide range of subjects. Now, if you listen to the program on Tuesday nights, we have Michael Weber in on Filling in the Blanks, and we talk about TED lectures together. Now, Busan, in fact, also has a TED event every year. And last Saturday, TEDxBusan was held and got a lot of attention from a lot of different people. Today, we've invited some people who took part in TEDx to the studio. Welcome. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I'm like, hello. Suddenly I feel so lonely. Where are they? Oh my God. I'm here by myself once again. All right. It is very nice. First, I would like to say thank you so much for taking the time tonight to come here. And I'm a big fan of TED.
Thank you.
I'm a bit of an airhead, not much to say. Don't think I could do one. But still, the lectures are really brilliant. What I would like to do first is perhaps have each of you introduce yourself to the listening audience and just tell them a little bit about who you are. All right, I'll go Western style. The ladies first. Thank you. I'm going to start with Xian. Xian, how you doing?
Yeah. Hey. How are you guys? And my name is Xian, and I'm actually working as a private English tutor right now. And I'm also taking the job of translation team manager in TEDxBusan team. And I really like playing piano as a hobby and playing guitar or I like music as it is.
Goodness gracious, you've got a full plate there. Do you do some of the translation work? Do you directly do some of the translation work?
Directly? Like, English into Korean and Korean into English, vice versa.
Very good.
And actually, I got the title, and she has the power. She's on the same team, translation team.
Okay, you've got the title, but she's the one who's pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Yeah, she's the power.
She's the boss.
I didn't even know that.
All right, this is where we're going to dig down a little bit for the dirt here. Eunice, if you would tell us a bit about yourself.
All right, my name is Eunice. My Korean name is Nam Yoon Jung, and I'm an English teacher at Busan Gangseol High School. I've been to radio station quite a couple of times. I actually have been on your show. I'm not sure if you remember me or not, but there were 3 people from TEDxBusan. We talked about our group, and actually it's like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
So after that show, I actually left Busan for my master's degree in the States. And after graduation, I came back.
I see.
And naturally, I came back to TEDxBusan and to Inside Out Busan too.
Very nice. Okay.
Very nice. I'm very glad that I came back. Personally, I like music and I love learning other languages. And as Xian introduced, I am also a member of translation team at TEDxBusan, and I also participate a lot in open translation project of TED.com. So far I have translated 8 talks. 8 TED Talks, including TED Talks, TED Ed Talks, TED Education Talks, and TEDx Talks.
So I said she's a power.
So she's the one who possesses the real power there.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Eunice, what part of the States were you in?
Illinois.
You were in Illinois?
Yeah, I went to University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
Did you really?
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I lived in Illinois for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow. Where in Illinois?
I was in the southwest part of the state, in a place down near Belleville, kind of outside St. Louis. I mean, it was great. If you love cows and corn, it was fantastic.
I love corns.
Yes, okay.
I love corn.
Well, that's the place for you. All right, very good. Quentin, if you would, tell us a bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I've been living in Korea for almost 3 years now. over 3 years, going on almost 4. And basically, I love any kind of educational, personal development. Before coming to Korea, I actually had my own business in the personal development industry. So anytime I hear of events or seminars or workshops coming here, I want to go and check them out. What I do here, I'm currently working at Pukyong National University.
All right.
As an English professor. I love it. It's great. And my hobbies is number 1, travel. I've been to between 30 and 35 countries. My other addiction is surfing.
All right.
So I love taking, trips to places like Bali, Australia. And also writing and blogging. I have a travel blog. And just, getting out to meet new people and enjoy Busan. I think Busan's a great city. Out of all the places I've been, I think it's one of the most underrated cities in the world. I've been to, like I said, about 35 countries, and Busan's one of the best cities out there that nobody really knows about. So, and coming from Vancouver, I find Vancouver and Busan very similar. So I feel right at home here.
Nice.
Yeah,
it really is. Busan is a great place. I lived up in Gyeonggi province for a couple of years, in Seoul for about 16 years, and I would never go north again.
I agree,
but I absolutely love it down here. It is a fantastic place.
I did 6 months in Seoul myself. My first 6 months, and I was ready to leave Korea after that. Then I took a weekend trip to Busan, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere besides moving out here. So I agree with you. Yeah.
When you said I did 6 months up in Seoul, it sounded like I did 6 months in state pen.
I put my time in,
and then I got out. And I made my way down here. I kind of feel the same way, to tell you the truth. All right, very cool. All right, let's kind of get into it here. The TEDxBusan event. Now, is this an annual event? Does it happen every year?
It happened actually every year, but it's not necessarily annual event. So we are trying to make the events like good quality events. So that's why we try to hold annually, because there are a lot of people waiting for TEDxBusan events.
I see.
But as I remember, we held one event for each year. But in 2012, we had 2 main events. And this year we had TEDx alone. It's a rather small size event.
I see.
And the one we held last Saturday, was the main event for this year.
Normally, are the TEDxBusan events, are they just one day, or do they span a number of days?
Well, if you attend TED conferences, like the main TED conference in the US, they actually are going to hold a lot of different main TED conferences. I'm sorry about that. TED conferences in Canada or some other countries. It was also held in Brazil, and it lasts like 3-4 days. But TEDx events, I have heard of one event in Taiwan. Was it? It was like 2 days. 2 days. 2 days, 1 night. But we haven't had anything like that. I guess the last event on Saturday was the longest one.
I see. All right, very good. Now, I understand that you and Xian both worked as organizers on this event. You said that you're working in the field of translation as well. How was your experience this time around? Were you very busy? What types of things did you have to do to help, put the event together? Xian, would you like to comment on that?
I just couldn't say I was busy. We are kind of killing busy. And
not just busy.
Not just busy. That word couldn't express all of this, our feelings and our situations. And yeah, we are quite and busy. And so actually we are kind of short-handed, right?
Short-handed, right?
Short-handed. Yeah. So and as you know, some of the stuff, almost all, probably except for the director licensee, almost all the steps are kind of the first comer here, TEDxBusan team. So they didn't know how to do some things or those things, or what they are gonna do, and what am I gonna do? They don't know, and then somebody throw out some questions. Then what I am gonna do right now? Then nobody knows.
Nobody has the answer.
Kind
So
of
that was
OJT, it's like an
question.
on-the-job training type thing.
Yeah.
Kind of figure out what you're doing as you progress. Eunice, what about you? What did you do exactly in order to help prepare for this event?
So I belong to translation team, but as Xian said, we are shorthanded. So I worked as I actually played a lot of different roles. So I translated some of the blog posts about the event, and also I had a meeting with one speaker in Seoul. Actually, I traveled to Seoul, and then I met her, and then I talked about her presentation, and I also communicated with her so that she can prepare for her speech. And also, I got involved in managing audience members.
All right.
And I worked at the reception desk on the event day.
Okay.
So there are quite different roles I played.
You were wearing a lot of different hats, apparently.
Literally, I saw her there wearing different hats.
Did you?
Joking.
Now, I've watched a number of TED Talks online. I know that there's a certain time limit that they give you. What is it, 16 minutes or 18?
It's actually 18
It's
minutes.
18 minutes that you've got to get your idea across in the most succinct, clear way possible, to get your message across to the audience. Quentin, you gave a talk this time around at the event, right?
Yeah, correct.
And how much time were you given?
A fraction of that.
How much time were you actually given?
It was 90 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing I was most concerned about was condensing everything I wanted to say, because in the email that approved and accepted me, it says, if you go over the 90 seconds, we'll turn your microphone off. So I was like, I don't want to be halfway through the dynamic close and then just blank, you know? So
Quentin, if you go over the limit, you'll be terminated with extreme prejudice. Goodness gracious, that's a bit harsh.
So that was the thing I was actually most nervous about, yeah.
Okay.
But sorry, we realize we are not that much high technology, so
Maybe it was more than...
you couldn't take up your microphone, actually.
That's true.
Kind of treating.
Yeah.
Treat.
But no, it was a great experience. Like I said, I just kind of went for it, and my topic was a very broad topic, so that was the hardest part, was to kind of try and just focus it down to the time that I had.
Right, to just get the main points across. Now, I'm curious as to what you gave a talk on. What was the subject of your talk?
Yeah, well, it was really interesting because when I bought my ticket originally, there's a little section at the bottom that says, if you're interested in submitting a speech to give a presentation, we're looking for more speakers.
All right.
And I thought, okay, well, I'll just write something up and send it in, thinking it would never be approved or, get the go-ahead. So I wrote something up in like 10 minutes, but obviously it got accepted. And basically it was condensing travel, uniting cultures, and talking about world peace. Like I said, what my talk was about was talking about my experience going through 30 to 35 countries in the last 10 years, and what I saw of countries being separated and individuals being suppressed based on their culture, religion, race, political, and economic backgrounds. And the message was, I quoted and referenced two John Lennon songs. One, Imagine, when he says, imagine all the world living, sharing as one. And then his second song, Let's Give Peace a Chance, saying, let's work together to become citizens of a human race and not look at what passport we all hold, but look at each other as brothers and sisters, especially now with all the conflicts and wars and, world current events. It's a message that I thought was pretty prevalent.
Hallelujah.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that there has been, I don't know whether we're headed into another, it's certainly not the golden era these days.
Yeah.
And I think that message needs to really be put out, that we need to live, to live together and be more tolerant.
Thank you.
I'm very interested. You said that you've traveled to quite a few countries. Just briefly, if you could tell us maybe, one or two places that you've been where I imagine that you've had some really amazing experiences.
Yeah.
But out of all the experiences which you've had, which of those experiences really kind of, stands out for you, kind of sticks in memory?
I think I've got enough to write a full novel about all the experiences, which I plan to do. But I think like what the experience I spoke about at the event at TED was when I traveled through the Middle East, and literally when I got to Israel and went to Jerusalem to see a city in literally a walled circle in the old city, and it's sliced up like a pizza, separating the Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and Armenian cultures, and that just blew me away. You know, when I'm literally walking through kind of like a maze of all this history, but it's so segregated based on, you know, the people's religion. And so that was an amazing experience, but it was also kind of like a big eye opener to see nowadays in, you know, the 21st century, how that's still so, you know, just a reality.
Very sobering.
Yeah.
It really is very sad. Sobering's not, I think it's very sad, you know, the fact that there's just so much divisiveness everywhere we look.
And what else I referenced was here in South Korea, you know, we live with one of the most dangerous borders in the world.
That's right.
With our neighbors to the north that also separates generations of Korean families. You know, no matter what people's political beliefs are, I think that that's something that really is, you know, a big issue that, you know, if you look at the dynamics of that alone, it's a pretty heavy situation.
It really is.
So.
All right, we've got, hold on, let me check with my producer. Can we stretch this out a little bit, maybe a few more minutes? I'm going to keep rolling here. I'm not going to follow his instructions.
Breaking the rules, breaking the
rules, getting away with it. Thank you, sir.
Can I ask something?
Yes, please.
So
go ahead.
he was a speaker for 90-second speech, which was one experimental thing we tried for the first time at TEDxBusan event. So we actually selected a few audience members to become speakers at the 90-second speech.
Really?
Yes.
So in other words, they had to do a speech pretty much no preparation, right
off
the top of their head. Did you get some good ones?
Well, I actually missed it because I was working outside of the. So actually, she saw it.
I no. I actually missed it because I was working outside of the whole event hall, but I got some feedbacks from other audiences or other staff members that their audiences' reactions were really great. They responded in a great way. So we, as members of the TEDxBusan team, just looking forward to, you know, watching the video clips on YouTube later on after all the videos are finishing their, you know, editing or something like that.
Wow.
I also hold a lot of good comments about all the 90-second speech. So
you got overall a very good response from the audience. That's very interesting. You know, maybe, you know, I would love to try that. You will hear, you know, 90 seconds of it'll be the longest drawn out you've ever heard in your entire life. That's what you'll get from me. All right, I'm curious. How do you go? Obviously, Quentin, you know, you wrote something up. You said in a fairly brief amount of time, submitted it, and you were selected. What about the selection process? How do you get people to attend? How do you get people to know about the event? How do you let them know that it's here and we're interested in having speakers come? How do you reach out and kind of bring people in?
We do a lot of things. We actually have a lot of accounts on SNS, Facebook, and we also have blog. If we decide to have an event, we print a lot of brochures or posters, and we run around all the places like cafes and restaurants or schools. So we advertise, and we also advertise to our friends and colleagues, coworkers, and mostly we just want to spread the words that we are having this amazing event, and you would be the member of the people who are amazing enough to share some ideas worth spreading. And we just, I don't know, we just act out, and we don't have a lot of money, actually, to be honest. We need some sponsors and funding.
Do you really?
Yes, please.
Potential sponsors, people cause.
Okay, let's do that right. We've got about a minute left right now, and if you would like to say something about the event, if there's anything that you'd like to share with the listening audience, maybe solicit some funds.
Okay, gentle potential sponsors, please be focused on us. We are working as volunteers, just for the purpose of sharing and spreading gorgeous ideas to the whole world. So yeah, just as I said, focus on us and yeah, give the money, donate us.
Okay,
please.
I'll say something. I mentioned previous that my background was actually in the personal development event conference industry. And I was actually marketing and selling events similar to this with guys like Bob Proctor and speakers from authors. And those conferences run anywhere between $3,000 and $10,000 for like a 3 to 5 day event. And I think that what TED is doing here, bringing up speakers to share content, really thoughts for free, or the ticket was only $50 to have access to information like this for such a small price. I think it's a really great organization to support, where there's other conferences out there that are charging thousands of dollars for it. So I really support and applaud TED for putting this on and all your hard work. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you for recognizing us.
And I would like to say thank you to all of you tonight. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but once again, thank you so much for coming in tonight and letting people know about this great event. Thank you so much.
For
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
All right.
Thank you for having us here.
Once again, we had Eunice, Xian, and Quentin who were taking part in the TEDxBusan event. I would like to ask you very quickly, once again, we're kind of keeping the clock is rolling here. Don't forget to send out a huge round of applause to the people that do the very hard work on the program behind the scenes. Our producer, Mr. Jang Hyun Jun, our writer, Nam So-ah, the ever-sexy sound engineer, Ken Shin, and our translator, Kim Oni. We're going to send you off tonight with a song from Lee So-ra. It is called 바람이 분다. Enjoy. Be back tomorrow night. We hope that you'll be with us. Good night. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
You're great.
No.
Bro, that's great.